Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Traders Corner, and in this video we're just going to be doing a quick recap of my trades from this week. So, let's go to the charts.
How you feeling?
Bro, it was great.
No,
it was great. It was better than I expected.
excellent. It was
Exactly
very
better than I
excellent.
expected.
What's up guys? So we're on the USD Yen chart on the 5 minutes, and as you can see, TDI is in the buy zone. RSI was overbought around, what is this, 8 a.m., 7:30. Yeah, around 8 a.m. Yeah, so price was overbought around 7 a.m. 8 p.m. And then it actually continued to move higher. Price actually continued to move higher. And then as you can see, the RSI and the trend line are both falling, and the market sentiment begins to fall as well. So just clicking through here, we're developing a bit of divergence, meaning price action is moving higher while RSI and the trend line are both falling, which means I should usually look to usually I would look to avoid this setup just because of this divergence. So I would usually look to start a short because because RSI is falling. The RSI and trend line are falling, and price action is rising. This usually means that the market is going to turn around soon. But I was pretty confident in this setup, just because I liked the market sentiment. It was in the buy zone pretty much all day, and we never reached overbought or dipped back into the sell zone. So I liked that, and for a lot of this move, we were outside of the a lot of this early move, we were outside of the 80 EMA, and then even when we came back and tested the 50, pushed higher, came back, tested the 50 again, pushed higher, tested the 50 again, and pushed higher. So I was pretty confident that the trend would continue for at least a little bit longer. And so yeah, let's see what happened. I haven't entered my trade yet, by the way. So price retraced to test the 21 EMA and then pushes off of it. So that would have been my ideal, this price over here would have been my ideal entry, but I was a little bit late seeing this pair when it happened live, and I entered at 245, yeah, which was this candle here. I entered here, and I figured it was still a solid entry just because I'm roughly in the same area that where my perfect entry would have been. So I still took this trade. And yeah, as you can see, price just it smashed it. Price just went straight up and held the 8 EMA the entire time, and then it began to fall and everything. But by that time, I was already out of my trade. So that was trade one. Let's move on to the next one. So second trade of the week, we're on USD CAD 5 minutes. Price is beginning to form a downtrend. We were in a strong uptrend before, but now price is starting to form a downtrend, and you can see even with the EMAs here, the 800 EMA is still below the 200 and the 50, but price is moving towards a downtrend. TDI is in the sell zone, but it was in the buy zone earlier because of this strong uptrend that we had. It's swapped over, and now we are in the sell zone. We've been in the sell zone for about 5 hours now, but price has just been overbought. As you can see, price was struggling there for a second. Retraces to the 21 EMA. And then pushes off the 21 EMA. So at this point, this was my entry. I entered off this candle. At this candle close, so I entered at 3:10 a.m. And because the EMAs were swapping and this price was overbought like just an hour ago, this wasn't an ideal setup, but I played my edge with this one. So I sized down. I took same as the my first trade. There was a bit of divergence and it was overbought previously, so I had sized down with that trade, and same with this one because it's very possible, because it was overbought and trend is swapping, that price could have reversed, and that's a possibility anytime you're in the market. But I entered about there, and every time for most of my trades, I usually aim for about a risk reward ratio of about 2. That way, when I do lose, I lose half as much as I win, if that makes sense. That's just the way I like to manage my risk. And yeah, so let's see how this trade turned out. So at this point, I was managing my trade, and price fell, pulled back to tested the ADMA, and then fell again. And at this point, I moved my stop just behind the pullback, just so that I'd be stopped in profit. And as you can see, we were out of this trade. But even if this pin didn't just hit my stop loss, I still would have been stopped in profit, which, that's, how many pips is that? That's 5 pips, which, that's not much, but it's better than nothing, So yeah, let's move on to the next one. As you guys can see, we're back on the USD yen chart on the 5 minutes, and as you guys can see, TDI is still in the buy zone. I really liked that market sentiment, just because it never reached overbought or dipped into the sell zone, as I was stating for my first trade. And price we were still in this uptrend, and price began to retrace towards the 21 EMA. It held the 21 EMA and then ended up pushing off. But as you can see, it kind of pushed off weakly, but I still went ahead and took this trade anyway, because because TDI was, I really liked what was going on with the TDI. 2, we were still in a uptrend, and I had just taken a previous trade where I did something similar and it worked out. So, this is definitely something I need to get better at in the market. It's but yeah, this trade was kind of a force, because it moved just because of how weakly this moved off of the 21 EMA. But I went ahead, took this trade anyway. But one thing I will say is that my I've been doing a good I've been doing a better job of grading my setups, grading my trades, and this I was grading this trade as a B trade, a B setup overall, just because it was overbought earlier in the day, and it moved very weakly off of the 21 EMA. But I was still, I was still confident in my trend. I was still confident that the trend would continue for at least a little bit longer. So let's see what happened. Yeah, so I immediately got stopped out and I was out of this trade. And I think that was my last trade for Monday. So let's see you guys in the next one. So guys, back to the USD CAD on the 5 minutes. Price was TDI was in the buy zone all day. I really like this market sentiment. It relatively flat in the buy zone. RSI trendline never got overbought or anything. And the only issue with this right now is that we're not in a full downtrend because, we're not in a full uptrend because the 800 EMA is above the 821.50 and the 200 EMA. But so yeah, price fell a little bit, tested the 50 EMA, and then shot up with that strong candle right there. And this was where I entered. I entered the market right about here, and I entered because just because it pushed off so strongly. Price pushed off of the 50 EMA so strongly, and the TDI was in the buy zone. I really liked what I was seeing there, so I entered about here. And try to go get my 2R. So let's see what happens. So at this point, I saw price pulled up, pulled back, and then pushed higher. And after that happened, I actually moved my stop loss just behind the push off, and price immediately fell. So luckily, I was stopped in profit before price turned around on me. On to the next one. So now we are on the Euro USD chart on the 5 minutes, and as you can see, TDI was in the sell zone all day. The market sentiment was in the sell zone all day. I really liked the way this was looking. It never reached oversold, never went into the buy zone and then came right back. No, it was in all day. It was in the sell zone, which is ideal. Price was overbought earlier in the day, but as you can see, price continued to move lower. It was a pretty erratic move, but it did move lower. And also you can tell that we're not in a complete downtrend. We're swapping from an uptrend to a downtrend just because the EMAs, you can see that the 800 EMA is below the 200, and price is beginning to retrace to the 21 EMA, breaks the 21 EMA, tests the 50 EMA, and then pushes off of it. And as you can see, we were still in the in the sell zone. We were close to the buy zone, but we are still in the sell zone. So until we cross over, I'm still looking for sells. And since it held the 50 EMA and pushed off of it, and pushed off of it. This is where I entered. I entered here. Tried to go get my 20 pips, and let's see how it turned out. So as you can see, yeah, it hit my stop almost immediately. And then price ended up moving higher. So yeah, you win some, you lose some. I figured I'd play my edge, but I figured since we were trend was swapping from buy to a sell, and we had been in the sell zone all day. I figured that the setup was good enough that I could still take it and make money off it. But you know, at the end of the day, it was a B setup because there was a bit of divergence, as you can see. Price, RSI and trendline are rising, while price action is falling, which usually means that price is going to turn around, which is exactly what happened, and price started to move back upwards. But you know, I did size down on this trade, so I didn't take too much of a loss, but yeah, I did lose this trade. So on to the next one. So now we're on the CAD yen chart from the 5 minutes, and this was actually my final trade for the week. So as you can see, TDI was not perfect. It was in the buy zone for about half of the day up until this point. I'd say about 60% of the day up until this point, and then finally crossed into the sell zone. And RSI and the trend line actually pushed into the buy zone, but the market sentiment was holding in the sell zone. So I was, of course, short biased just because the market sentiment was telling me to sell. No real divergence on this. Price action falling, RSI falling, and so yeah, we were in an uptrend, and now we're in what looks like it's swapping to a downtrend, and price, the 821, 50, and the 200 EMA are all in this general area. And then when I saw that, I saw this strong candle shifting off of these EMAs, which signaled to me that the market might be trying to push down to this 800 EMA, which I then set as my target. So I shouldn't have clicked that, but I actually got in after this shift. I got in at this candle close, and my target was the 800 EMA. So yes, this was actually my big winner for the week. It didn't actually, because of the spread at the time, that didn't actually hit my my target. So then I ended up moving my stop. Yeah, so price, it tested the 8 EMA, and then this is where I moved my stop loss, right behind the pullback. But then it actually did, with this wick right here, it actually ended up hitting my target. So I was out of the trade, and this ended up being my big winner for the week. So that was all my trades this week, guys. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys... So those are my trades for the week, guys. So those were all the trades I took this week. Kind of why I took them, like where my mind was at, and I'm definitely noticing that my mindset while trading is getting better, but it's definitely not where it needs to be for me to be a consistently profitable Forex trader, which is the goal. So yeah, guys, comment down below. We'd really love to hear from you guys. Let us know where you guys are in your trading journey, whether you're trading live, trading demo, just learning, anything. Just comment down below. We'll definitely get back to you. And yeah, thank you guys, and see you guys in the next one.